This really symbolizes what it's like to do what we do on those back roads and have life imitate art and follow this rider and this advertisement's example. This is John Delvecchio, author of Cornering Confidence and riding coach at the Street Skills Motorcycling School. The Street Skills Moto show focuses on the most fun part about riding, the corners. I'll be sharing highlights from my book, situations that come up in my courses, and I'll even break down my own personal motorcycling experiences. Please subscribe and click on the notifications bell below to get the latest videos first. Well, I must have done something right because I recently received a gift from the motorcycle gods I could not reject. You ever notice when you're not looking for a motorcycle, it seems like the best time to acquire one? I'm also notorious for buying motorcycles in the winter for some reason. If somebody would have told me a week ago that I'd be holding the title to my first KTM motorcycle, I'd have thought they were nuts. Well, it's true. I'm the new owner of a 2010 SMT 990, and I plan on using it occasionally to teach my on-road style cornering confidence courses. In celebration of my new acquisition, I'd like to use a few KTM motorcycle ads to assist you in finding the most confident street cornering body position. The ads I picked follow the familiar story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So let's call this the Goldilocks body position. For those of you unfamiliar with the story of Goldilocks, basically this young girl walks into the bear family's house. They're not home. She sees 3 bowls of porridge. The first one she takes, too hot. Second one, she tastes is too cold. The third one, though, is just right. And that is how we start our story of Goldilocks in the best body position. Let's start with too hot. This is the back cover of Road Racing World magazine, and this magazine is for frequent racers and track day riders, so we can expect this to be the most aggressive body position. While this rider looks great and is probably having a ball, I don't recommend this body position on the street. Here's what I like. First of all, I believe that the shoulders and arms are placed quite nicely, and the outside leg and foot seem to be in the appropriate place. Here's what I'm not crazy about. The head could be turned a little bit more, but I would assume that's more has to do with the photography than the technique. Also, if we look close to the front brake lever there, we can see that he has one finger resting on the brake lever. I teach 2, and I have a Trail Braking Sucks video and other resources that you could see my secret weapon hand positioning. Now, proper gear selection should place the left hand curled on the grips and the grip, and not resting on the clutch lever. Now, the knee down, it's cool, but that might be overkill, obviously, for Sunday rides, even for those hustling along. And now let's talk about the too cold example. To be fair, this isn't KTM's ad, and I'm not really sure of the exact model. It's for Nationwide Insurance, and an insurance company, of course, is going to want to show a rider taking it easy versus one on the brink of traction. Yet the rider is in a corner, so it's fair game to break down. We know that speed is going to affect body position, and this rider must be going slow. My suggestions are these. We want to kiss the mirror, even if it's a little bit. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you take a look at this rider, the center line of the motorcycle and the rider's chest center line are together. And at minimum, they should be in line when you corner. We don't want to fight the lean. However, we could get our chest a little bit inside by bringing our face down and moving inside, kissing the mirror to help aid in this turn. However, at this speed, it's probably not that necessary. The next thing we want to really look at here is get a little bend in those arms. And we want to bend our arms for lots of different reasons, which I outline in my book, videos, and courses. And so you want to make sure that you're really getting a good bend in those arms. The other thing is, do people really use 2 fingers on the clutch? Normally I have my hands curled on the left grip, but when I do use the clutch, I find it more comfortable to use the first 3 fingers at least. I'm pretty happy with this rider's right hand. Their hand is in the secret weapon position, and the legs and feet look great. Finally, the just right rider. And I gotta start by saying that I just love this ad. I think this is probably one of the best motorcycle ads that I've ever seen. I just think that the rider is in a great position, and it really does share the brand image just perfectly. And let's take a closer look. Although this rider is in full leathers, this is an excellent street cornering posture. Not necessarily for the commute to work, but when you're in the twisties. I do have a few little nitpicks. First of all, this rider could be looking more through the turn in my opinion. Also, I prefer the 2-finger secret weapon hand position for my brake to throttle transitions. You see a lot of 1 finger resting on the levers, and I just don't think that's very practical for us street guys. Here's what I like and suggest you do in the twisties. First of all, the shoulders are parallel to the handlebars. That's a good benchmark, rule of thumb if you will. Also, the inside elbow is pointing down. What does this do? Well, it brings the chest inside where it needs to be to keep the motorcycle straight, as I call it, and it brings us into kiss the mirror body positioning. Now, if you look at the outside elbow, it's neutral, and that's exactly what it should be. Also, if we take a look here at the balls of the feet are on the pegs, and we want to keep the ball of our foot on the pegs for better leverage and to keep those toes up off the ground. Now, instead of a knee down, this rider has pivoted slightly around the tank, which actually brings the knee away from the pavement and allows the rider to cling to the motorcycle for a more connected feel to the machine. For the record, I don't believe it is required to pivot like this, but when speeds are higher and the turns are sharper, this is a great technique. I will note that some schools do teach the knee down, and that's clearly an acceptable and welcoming technique. However, according to my curriculum, I don't believe in much deliberate movement below the waist, if any, is required for swift and spirited cornering street posture. Obviously, any of these 3 body positions are going to work for you on the street. However, riding too hot places the rider closer to control limits. Riding too cold, well, doesn't look like much fun, actually. So the best way to fully enjoy the twisties is a compromise, as seen in the Just Right example. And what I would do is pick up a copy of Rider, the latest issue, and this is right inside the back cover. Take this picture, tack it up on your wall. This is the image that we all think that we look like when we're in those twisties. This really symbolizes what it's like to do what we do on those back roads. And have life imitate art and follow this rider and this advertisement's example. And just to wrap things up here, you can sign up for my monthly newsletter at streetskills.net. Share a comment below. I also cover street cornering body position the best way I know how in my book, Cornering Confidence, and my courses that I also teach. And you can check out the link below for how to get your hands on a copy. I'm doing signed copies. You can get an Amazon Prime shipped to you in 2 days. I'm also doing bundle packaging where I'm sending bulk orders of 2 to 5 books to people. Now, social media is also a big deal to me. I really like Instagram. It's my favorite. And thanks for watching. And for God's sake, go out riding today if you can.